Alright, so hello everyone. Hope the conference went well for everyone here. So my name is Aniruddhan Ramesh and I am from the University of Cincinnati. I'm a computer science student and today I'll be talking about our study, Agile User-Centered Design of a Clinical Research Project Management System, a case study in a pediatric health institute. I and all research team members do not have any commercial or associative interest to disclose. And the learning objectives for this session is, after participating in this session, the learner should be better able to understand the importance of project management in clinical research, learn about hybrid development methodology, combining user-centered design approach and agile software development principles in order to develop an application, and also understand usability testing and evaluation approaches to assess the effectiveness and usability of an application. To give a bit of a background in this study, clinical research is extremely important, and academic hospitals serve as vital centers to conduct clinical research. And oftentimes, clinical research is very complex, has high stakes, and are given limited resources to accomplish. And they also have a lot of time and budget constraints. And as a result, they carry a lot of risks in delivering poor results and even potentially causing project failure. As a result, project management is crucial in mitigating these risks and ensuring that the project is completed within the given time and budget. So project management is one such discipline that employs a systemic approach in order to execute the projects. So there are several benefits with project management, like it reduces risks of loss in progress and ensures project completion. It also prevents any conflicts that may occur and also establishes a better form of communication with the stakeholders involved. And it also ensures that the project is completed both within the given time and budget. However, research project management is very complex and multi-layered to implement. And as a result, there's actually a lack of applications that support research project management in a highly workflow compatible and highly usable manner. And since user input is very essential in order to develop such applications, this helps minimize gaps in the mental models between the designers of the application and the users of this application. However, the challenge over here is that it's very challenging to just get the user input in order to develop such applications in a clinical research setting because of time constraints and scheduling conflicts. So in this study, we address this issue by creating a hybrid methodology to develop and evaluate a clinical research project management system in a user-centered manner. So this study was set in the Pediatric Heart Institute Research Core at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Cincinnati Children's is the nation's top children's hospital and is also a multi-specialty group with its own research infrastructure. And HIRC also actively engages in clinical trials and stands in the forefront of pediatric cardiology and pediatric research, and hence serves as the ideal center in order to conduct our study. And this is our method structure. Firstly, we'll be combining Agile user-centered design approach and Agile software development principles in order to create a hybrid model to develop our application. And then we'll be dividing our study into 4 different phases. And then we'll be conducting evaluation on the clinical research project management system that we've built. So user-centered design is a very popular methodology where it's a human-centered cyclic design approach where designers first interact with the users, and then they specify user requirements. Then they transform these requirements into software solutions, and then test these software solutions based on the requirements that was put forth earlier. And this is an iterative process which also gives designers an opportunity to detect any pain points that may occur, and also helps them to optimize usability in this iterative cycle. Agile software development is also another approach where software teams are given the opportunity to deliver working software in short, frequent intervals or cycles. And we'll be using Scrum, which is a form of Agile software development principles. And here, we combine Agile software development principles and user-centered design in order to create a hybrid model called Agile user-centered design approach. So user-centered design is normally very time-consuming, and hence, in order to combine that with Agile software development principles, what we did was we took a big part of need assessment from user-centered design and put that as sprint 0 and also the beginning of each sprint or phase. And then we also took the evaluation part of the user-centered design and put that after the end of each sprint and also between each phases. And by this, we were able to successfully combine agile software development and user-centered design. So this methodology has been previously employed in six other studies in order to develop applications for health issues. However, this study is the first ever to do so in a clinical research setting. So the advantages of Agile UCD include shared decision making, resource reduction, and also several economic benefits. So this is the study design over here, where where we divide the study into 4 different phases. So the phase 0 mainly is dedicated for contextual inquiry and understanding the workflow of the system, and then the sprints are part of the phases, phase 1 and 2, where phase 1 we develop project management and business administration functionalities, and in phase 2 we develop the intake process of the system. And then phase 3 is mainly dedicated for refining the system and also maintaining whatever we built so far. And phase end is mainly for reviewing the project and also closing it. So in order to recruit participants, we mainly use convenient sampling for the recruitment process, and participants were mainly recruited from the Heart Institute Research Core itself, with phase 1 mainly pertaining target users of the project management and business operation phases, where they included project managers, clinical research coordinators, and regulatory specialists. So phase 2 included participants from the intake phase, where they included faculty members and principal investigators. So this is the usability testing design of our system, where in order to understand the context and also understand the workflow of the system, here we conduct preliminary analysis by using semi-structured interviews with the key users, and we perform transcript and data analysis on the findings that we receive. And in order to evaluate the system using usability testing, we conducted 2 different usability testing sessions for each phases. So for phase 1 over here, we gave brief training of the system to the users, and we also allowed them to perform 3 different tasks based on their roles in their organizations. And from our findings in phase 1, we realized that it would be better and beneficial in order to get feedback right after each task is done. And hence, in phase 2, after each task, we also gave the users a 1-question score so that we can get their feedback after each task is done. And after the usability testing sessions, we provided an online survey which was based on the system usability scale survey, and also a post-interview questionnaire or a follow-up questionnaire. And this really allowed us to get a more qualitative and quantitative understanding of the usability of the system. So as a result of this study, we were able to first understand the workflow and also perform workflow analysis to draw out this structure over here. And we also detected 4 major pain points in the workflow, which included low usability of current tools, redundancy and inefficiency, poor data quality, and low information availability. So as part of the usability evaluation of the system, in phase 1, we recruited 12 participants who gave an overall SUS score of 88.65, which meant that our prototype was highly usable. And we also detected 126 usability issues through transcript analysis, and out of which 68 issues were of high severity, and 15% of them required user training to bridge the gaps in mental models between the designers and the users. And in phase 2, we recruited 7 participants who again gave the SUS score of 87.1, which also indicated above average or highly usability of our application. And through transcript analysis, this revealed 71 usability issues, among which 4 major issues were common among 7 users. So through this study, we were able to find that usability testing is critical for application development, as it helps minimize mental models between the designers and users, and also helps tailor an application to better suit the workflow of the user. And in context to clinical research informatics, we realized that usability testing largely employs methods like SUS scores, 1-question scores, and also task completions, despite being effective, they don't really help us identify specific issues. And as a result, we actually found a need to conduct mixed method studies. For example, conducting semi-structured interviews paired with one-question survey, so that we can get both qualitative and quantitative understanding. So, through this study also proved the success of Agile UCD, where our study was the first ever to show the success of Agile UCD in developing a project management application in a clinical research setting. And Agile UCD also allowed us to perform usability testing on working software. This allowed detection in usability issues in an iterative process, also faster overall development of an application, and also helped us decrease the number of issues post-implementation of the software. This also helped us get a better understanding of what the users wanted and also their requirements. So we did face a few challenges with traditional Agile UCD, such as time constraints in understanding user requirements, workload imbalance between the designers and developers, and prioritizing issues, and also the fact that user feedback might not include usability concerns from different groups. And we modified our model to better address all of these challenges by first implementing a hierarchical workflow chain, where designers of the system would lead the usability testing sessions, where the developers would also be involved, and then the designers would understand user context and user requirements, and then assign tasks to developers. And we internally collaborate and discuss on resolving any usability issues and developing the application. This really helped balance out the workload of the system. And then we also documented all of the issues in tools like ClickUp and Figma, and also had 3 levels of testing before resolving any issue. And we also conducted a sprint 0 just dedicated to understand user context and the workflow. This study also had certain limitations, where a clinical research project management system was specifically designed for a single institution. And implementing this study for other clinical research settings will also help us understand the generalizability of this study. And usability testing also only included 19 participants, and including more participants will also definitely allow us to uncover more usability issues of the system. And we also did not employ any nuanced data collection methods such as eye tracking, and also employing this would definitely allow us to uncover more usability issues and understand the pain points of users. So future work for this study includes working on applying this methodology to improve user awareness of project status, and also expand the scope to other clinical research groups and even possibly other healthcare institutions. So we kindly like to thank the Heart Institute of Cincinnati Children's Medical Center for their time and effort, and also would like to thank the Heart Institute for providing internal funds to support the development of this application. This study would also not be possible without our multidisciplinary group of co-authors, which included lead clinical informaticians, medical students, computer science students and software developers, Master of Design students, project managers, and business managers. So a current academic output is we presented a podium on this study. We presented a poster on this study in last year's AMIA annual symposium, and right now I'm presenting a podium presentation on this study as well. And we'll also be submitting a paper that's written on this study to the Applied Clinical Informatics Journal by the end of this month. And we really appreciate any feedback or thoughts you have regarding this study before we submit. So thank you so much for your time, and yeah.